All right, welcome everybody. So I'm Dr. Emily Penny, and I'm here with our wonderful client David. So David's going to be sharing his story of healing with us today. Welcome, David.
Hey, yeah, glad to be here.
So David is a multi-talented fellow. He is an artist, and he's also getting certified as a health coach. So we've been really enjoying working with him because he has so much knowledge around the health field already, and it's been really wonderful to help him move forward in that for his own healing so that he can go and help others. So we're really happy to have you here, David.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so David, we kind of like to start with, the before picture, right? So maybe you can tell our viewers a little bit about kind of where you were at when you first reached out to us and how you were feeling, what was going on with you.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So when I started the program, it was kind of uh, a teeter-totter, a pendulum swing, if you will. I had come a long way just on my own through trial and error and kind of the shotgun effect, if you will. I was kind of having, inconsistent um, bowel movements and digestion. It was pretty rough. I would, have a couple days of relief, and it would be normal, and then it would swing back into some craziness, back and forth, and pretty high inflammation. Energy levels were not great. Stuff like that. It was pretty broad spectrum of symptoms, if you will. A pretty extreme healing crisis, and
Hmm.
yeah, and so that was kind of before entering in the program, and I would say after, you know, even before we were able to completely get to the root of what was going on with me, as far as, figuring out that it's actually was, a pretty serious bacterial and fungal infection, to an extent, H. pylori and fungal infection. We were even
Hmm.
able to alleviate a lot of the symptoms just through diet alone, which was really cool. Really cool to hear.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So yeah, so we kind of started with diet, right? While we were digging into discovering what it could be. And as you probably discovered in the program, not everybody has the same underlying cause, and so we kind of start with the most likely thing first. But in your case, we had to dig a little deeper and keep going. But in the meantime, um, you had seen some pretty amazing improvements just from cutting out certain foods in the diet, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So one of the things that people are often kind of interested in is, your sort of lived experience of where you were at in terms of how you were feeling and how you're doing emotionally and things like that prior to starting, and how that shifted over time as you were doing better. And I know as a healer myself and having dealt with my own health issues, that one of the most frustrating things that one can do when one is in the health field is not be able to resolve one's own health issues, right? That can be a really frustrating experience. So, what was that like for you, um, as someone who kind of has a lot of knowledge in the health field, and what was that like for you to, be in that place where, you were trying to figure it out, but it wasn't really happening, and before you found us, like, what was that experience like?
Mm. Yeah, great question.
Mm.
Frustrating, I'll say, like, because you're supposed to be
Yeah.
someone that's in this place of, the know-how, and spending all this time and energy and, uh, resources towards being able to help others, but then you also feel kind of like you're in a rock and a hard place because you're unable to completely, or resolve your own issues. So it can be kind
Hmm.
of, and
Hmm.
um, you know, kind of create an imposter syndrome. It's like I'm an imposter
Mhm.
helping other people. I can't even help.
Mhm.
And so it kind of has this
Yeah.
downward spiral of self deprecation. So yeah,
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally, totally get it. Totally get it. And I mean, I've been there, you know. So, I mean, there's this principle of the wounded healer, you know, and Jung actually talks about the wounded healer, and that person is the most capable of, once they are truly healed, they're the most capable person of going and helping others because they've really been through it, you know. And that was one of the things that really attracted me to working with you, is because I could see I could see that we can help you with this piece that you just didn't have that particular level of expertise for that one thing that was still getting you, and that we could come in and show you how to do it, and that then you would be able to go on and help others, you know.
Yeah,
So it's been really cool to see that manifesting, you know. um
absolutely.
so, you know, it's also kind of nice for people to get a little sense of, you know, numbers. So, you know, when you started with us, um, where would you say, like, there was a few things that were kind of going on, but energy levels was a big one, right? Besides the digestive stuff. How would you say the percent of improvement in your energy levels has been since you first started working with us?
Oh, I mean, light years better. I still struggle with energy levels now, especially because I've always been, one to work long hours, kind of like a workhorse, if you will. But um, much better. I mean, I'd say I started out at maybe a 3 or a 4 on the levels of energy and my capability of being able to maintain that. Now I'm at, 8 easily.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's fantastic. That's just in a few months, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So that's fantastic. And then how about things like brain fog? What kind of improvement would you say you've had in that?
Mm. Yeah. So brain fog is also, gone down uh, substantially. So,
Mm-hmm.
starting out, the brain fog seemed pretty, set in, pretty solid. Maybe, going the opposite direction on a high scale, 1 to 10, probably about, 7, 8
Mm,
there.
okay.
And now it
Yeah.
fluctuates between, 2 and 3, 4, somewhere in there. So it's very low, very minimal, if, sometimes non-existent. So that's really awesome. It's working.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, some of the other things that have been going on for you, um, were like some muscle pain and some difficulty tolerating exercise. Can you give our viewers a little sort of, you know, before and after view of what that's been like?
Yeah, yeah. So, one of the symptoms of everything was fibromyalgia, and so the muscles
Hmm.
were sore.
Hmm.
Time. Um, and since doing this, I've been my muscle soreness has gone down exponentially. I probably work out maybe about 5 days a week for between 3 and 5 days a week, and am able to maintain that. So that's
Very
pretty.
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And how, you know, how, so they have the contrast. What was it like for you if you worked out before this?
Oh, it would take weeks. You know, if I worked out once or
From
twice.
one exercise session?
Yep, one exercise session, maybe two,
Hmm.
take
Hmm.
2, maybe even 3 weeks sometimes for my body to recover from that. And it's just not sustainable that way. So it's very,
Yeah.
uh, heartbreaking because it's one of my favorite things to do. So,
Mm. Yeah, you're an active young man, right? Just hit 30.
yep,
So, yeah, yeah. Well, it's just really exciting to see you just doing so much better and having your, you know, youthful vitality back, which is what you deserve. So, very cool. Very cool. So in anything else that I missed, that's changed for you?
Um, well, yeah, I mean, all of that, and on top of that, the digestive points of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit of details about the digestive stuff. What's changed there?
yeah, absolutely.
Mm,
So like I was saying earlier, the pendulum swing was pretty rough to stand. It also would cause those psychological issues of kind of anxiety
mhm,
because all the factors there. But since going through the program, I've had much more consistency. And while I still do have,
mm.
good sensitivities here and there, and sometimes it'll backtrack in certain circumstances, I'm much more aware of that now too. So to be able to, after the program, being able to more hone in on and diagnose what it is that's causing the problem, as opposed to just kind of guessing and yeah, shotgunning. So it's really awesome to have predictable digestion.
Very cool. Very cool. It's the basis of health for the rest of the body, right? As I'm sure you know. So,
Yeah.
okay, well, very awesome. So, David, what's next for you? What are your plans now that your health is back on track?
Oh man, I have so many plans. Well, I mean, I'm working to continue my certifications in the holistic field, being a holistic coach, a health coach, and I just want to be able to give back the wisdom that was shared with me to other people and try and do the same thing in the future. So that's really what my life has in store for me. It's what I feel like I'm being called to do. So I'm gonna continue down that path and see where it takes me.
Very, very cool. So, is there anything else that you would like to share with people who, I mean, I know when you started with us, you had to, you weren't able to work a lot and you had to get some help from family and things like that. Sometimes people are in that position, especially if they haven't been feeling well for a while.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Um, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners who might be kind of on the fence about, I don't know if this will work for me, or I don't know if this is going to be the right fit for me. Is there anything else you'd like to share as far as your experience working with us and being in the program?
Um, yeah, I mean, I would say that it was very informative, very all encompassing. And you guys definitely, I felt like I had support throughout the whole thing. And that actually gave me the energy to, like gave me the ability to have more energy to get a job that I could work full time while still getting the certification. So, now
Mhm.
I'm working full time and doing my certifications, taking my classes and my courses, and I feel like I can actually manage that, and so that's pretty incredible.
Very, very nice. Yeah. Health is wealth, as they say, right?
Yeah,
So if you don't have it, then it's really hard to create more wealth. Definitely. Definitely. So happy for you. You're able to hold down a full-time job and do your training. Wow, that's fantastic. Really fantastic. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us, David. It was great having you on this today, and also it's just been a pleasure working with you. So thank you so much.
absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody.